let's talk about the Netflix shows you probably binge-watched but didn't live up to the hype. Altered Carbon, the 2018 murder mystery sci-fi series that showed a lot of promise with its unique premise and gorgeous cyberpunk visual. In the end, the story was overly long and convoluted, and failed to live up to its lofty ambitions. 13 Reasons Why, the series that drowned in controversy for glamorizing suicide and offered a story that became progressively weaker and weaker. Lost in Space, a remake of the sci-fi classic that leaned too heavily on nostalgia rather than blazing its own path. Jessica Jones, a show that started off as one of the stronger Marvel titles, but ultimately suffered from uneven pacing in the middle of each season. And finally, House of Cards, the show that started all for Netflix. In today's political climate, machiavellian scheming and over-the-top political machinations feel tedious instead of entertaining. Now that we've pointed out how much time you've spent watching these overhyped shows, let's talk about some binge-worthy programs that are really worth your time. From teen romance to period mystery, sci-fi to satire, there should be something that strikes your fancy. First is the unusual but lyrical sci-fi series Sense8. This series was created by the Wachowski sisters, the duo behind the Matrix trilogy, and J. Michael Straczynski, best known for Babylon 5. Sense8 has an intricate plot that focuses on a group of 8 people from all over the world called Sensates, who learn they're mentally linked. They can speak across continents and tap into each other's skills and knowledge when they need to. And of course, this being a TV show, there's also a sinister organization after them. Beautifully shot on location and featuring a sprawling cast, Sense8 tells an uplifting story with strong genre elements. But the most rewarding part of the show is seeing the group of 8 sensates go from confused strangers to one another's greatest allies. These are people who initially seem to have nothing in common. They include a South Korean martial arts expert, a German thief, a transgender blogger in San Francisco, an Indian woman engaged to a man she doesn't love, a Chicago cop, an Iceland DJ, an African bus driver, and a closeted Mexican movie star. As they learn about one another, they realize they're stronger together. Unfortunately, the show was cancelled after 2 seasons and a wrap-up movie. But if you're looking for a series with a hopeful message that speaks to the way we're all connected, how we can find strength in our differences, and the value of loving and accepting people for who they are, all wrapped up in a sci-fi package, you won't find a better option. Next up, The Innocence. This British series focuses on 2 star-crossed teen lovers, June and Harry, who run away together to escape June's overbearing father. He claims June is sick and uses this as an excuse to control her every move, only letting her leave the house to go to school. But once the couple take off together on June's 16th birthday, they learn the truth. When June touches someone, she temporarily adopts their parents, while the individual she touches goes into a coma. The couple must come to terms with June's abilities while dealing with the realities of life on the run, including from a man who is hell-bent on capturing June for unknown reasons. Odd but intriguing, the show's 10 episodes take viewers to multiple locations to unravel the mystery of what's going on with June, why her mother left her family, and what happened to Harry's catatonic father. The show is full of surprise reveals and unexpected connections, including a twist ending that makes the series even more shocking. Like many, a supernatural melodrama, this series' central conceit that has shapeshifters living among us is preposterous. But this series' narrative, momentum, myriad mysteries, and realistic emotions make it easy to suspend disbelief. In the end, The Innocence is a story about the way unconditional love can pull someone through the worst circumstances, with a tragic ending to rival Romeo and Juliet. Our next choice is Elias Grace. This 6-episode Canadian series is based on a novel by Margaret Atwood, who also wrote The Handmaid's Tale. Like The Handmaid's Tale, Elias Grace centers on a female main character, but that's where the similarities end. This one takes place in the 19th century and centers on a woman who's been convicted of murdering her employer and his housekeeper, and the psychiatrist who gets involved in the case. While that sounds grim, and the show certainly has its moments, the show is a fascinating examination of a narrator that may or may not be reliable. Should we trust what Grace says about her life and especially the murders? Or is she lying to save herself? The show lets the viewer decide, and it's all the more interesting for it. Grace is a fascinating enigma whose dignity despite her circumstances makes her instantly sympathetic. Based on a real case from 1843, the series goes beyond the mystery of whether Grace is guilty to also look at the way her ability to tell a good story can make or break her. Over 6 episodes, Elias Grace spins a tale that still feels relevant today. Fourth on our list is Maniac, starring Emma Stone, Jonah Hill, Justin Theroux, and Sally Field, and directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga, who's best known for directing the first season of HBO's True Detective. This head trip of a series focuses on participants in a drug deal, and especially the way Stone and Hill's troubled characters manage to make a connection that improves both of their lives. Did we also mention that it features a heartbroken computer, a statue of extra liberty, and Stone and Hill playing multiple characters in a bunch of zany scenarios? Maniac is bonkers in the best way. Everything about the show is slightly off kilter, but with a purpose. The series has a puzzle box quality like shows like Westworld. It uses different stories and genres to peel back the layers of these complicated characters, ultimately exposing what makes them tick while never losing itself in different fantasy it spins. Hilarious but with heart, Maniac is the kind of show that leaves you scratching your head one minute and laughing out loud the next. Plus, with its tangled storylines and complex details, you might even find yourself watching this series more than once. Our next choice is The Rain. It's another teen-focused series, but there aren't any star-crossed lovers here. Instead, the show starts with a brother and sister who have been trapped in a bunker for 6 years after deadly rain wipes out the majority of the population. After a ragtag group of young survivors, led by a soldier, infiltrate their isolated space, the siblings join them on a mission to reach a rumored safe zone. Along the way, they bond, grapple with the reality of the post-apocalyptic world, and grasp at any way to improve their situation. As they move from place to place while trying to avoid trouble in the form of a mysterious band of soldiers and citizens, the group slowly uncovers how the rain brought about the end of the civilization as they knew it. This show is in Danish with English subtitles, but it bears all the hallmarks of a traditional teen dystopian drama, including a potential teen savior, sketchy adults, and wild revelations from each character's backstory. If you enjoyed Lost or The 100, this one's for you. Netflix has released a steady stream of animated offerings, including She-Ra and Voltron, but the most charming of these may be Troll Hunters: Tales of the Arcadia. Troll Hunters imagines a world where trolls exist and dwell underground, relying on the troll hunters to protect them. But when the last troll hunter meets his end and 15-year-old Jim picks up his amulet, a human becomes a troll hunter for the first time. Not only does Jim have to learn the troll's ways, he has to train to fight for them. Naturally, his human friends join him in this new calling as the human world and the troll world collide. The series features some stellar voice talent, including Kelsey Grammer and the late Anton Yelchin, and was created by visionary director Guillermo del Toro, whose fascination with monster-like sea creatures in his Oscar-winning film The Shape of Water continues here. Troll Hunters features characters with names like Blinky and Arg, hilarious dialogue, and real stakes. Over the course of the series, even the minor characters become endearing favorites, and some of Jim's scariest adversaries are revealed to have their good sides. You'll quickly find yourself invested in the world of Troll Hunters, and you'll miss the captivating universe it creates when its 3 seasons come to an end. Our 7th binge-worthy option is Dark, Netflix's first German-language show. In this series, the disappearance of 2 children in a small town exposes the ties between 4 families in a mystery spanning 3 generations. The series is complex, showcasing characters at 3 different time periods, while gradually revealing the town's festering secrets. Just like the title implies, Dark is a deep, dark thriller with supernatural elements that nervously unspools over the first season's 10 episodes. Moody and serious, this is a show that pulls you in from the first episode and doesn't let you go until the last. If you like that other Netflix show Stranger Things, Dark is similar, but subtract the 80s nostalgia and add in a time-jumping mystery and Twin Peaks-y tone, complete with gloomy woods and questionable characters. The series has been renewed for a second season, so after binge watching the first, you can comfort yourself with the fact that you will have the chance to jump back into Dark's strange world again soon. Next is another thriller, Mindhunter. Mindhunter tells the story of the birth of the FBI's Behavioral Science Unit, which was created in response to the rise of the kind of criminal that defies traditional crime solving, serial killers. Set in the 70s, the story follows two FBI agents and a psychologist as they attempt to develop a new way of solving murders, one that relies on psychology and criminal profiling to really get into the killer's mind. To develop their new method, the two FBI agents visit convicted serial killers to try to get into their heads, leading to some nail-biting but mesmerizing scenes. Based on the true crime book by John E. Douglas and Mark Olshaker, and with 6 of its 10 episodes directed by David Fincher, the man who helmed serial killer thriller VIII, Mindhunter tells a fascinating story about a team that bucks the system to introduce something important and new. The series is deliberately paced but completely absorbing with fascinating insights into the minds of criminals. There are a lot of series out there about police work in solving crimes, but Mindhunter distinguishes itself with its unique historical setting and its interest in getting into the minds of the main characters, as well as those of the serial killers they're trying to understand. Mindhunter isn't just interested in who committed a crime, it wants to understand why. And you'll find yourself rooting for the agents to successfully use their new approach to crime solving to solve open cases. Second to last on our list is Crazy Head, a British horror comedy about two women, Amy and Raquel, whose ability to seize demons brings them together. Raquel, a longtime demon hunter, shows Amy the ropes as they perform exorcisms, fight demons, and almost bring about the end of the world. Whoops. Crazy Head is reminiscent of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and is focused on a demon-fighting chosen one or two. But what makes this fun and raunchy romp really special is the growing friendship between Amy and Raquel. Each woman is desperate for understanding and acceptance and find it in the other. It's a testament to the power of female friendship as Amy and Raquel exchange sassy quips and squaring off against the forces of darkness. The series also features dark revelations about each character and a demon romance that is both more and less what it may seem. And at just 6 episodes, this is a quick binge you won't regret. We wrap up with the true crime satire, American Vandal. With the popularity of the true crime docs like The Jinx and Netflix Making a Murderer, it was only a matter of time before someone decided to spoof them. And American Vandal pays homage to the genre while spinning its own fictional tale of criminal intrigue. After several cars in the high school parking lot are spray painted with a certain male body part, a student is expelled for the vandalism. The case seems open and shut until a pair of sophomores decide to start their own investigation into the incident and capture it all on film. The show is hilarious, perfectly capturing the beats of the true crime series while slowly and subtly getting at something deeper about the identity in the age of modern media and how our perceptions become our reality. The second season is similarly ridiculous and profound, focusing on the Catholic school being terrorized by someone who calls themselves the Turd Burglar. The season starts with a massive potty emergency in the school cafeteria and ends with a deep insight into the differences between who we really are and how we present ourselves to the world. Mixing filthy humor and smart social commentary, American Vandal is a must-watch for anyone who enjoys true crime series, parodies, or could just use a good laugh. Sadly, this series has been cancelled, but that still leaves 2 seasons of 8 episodes for your binging pleasure. That's it for our list of overhyped Netflix shows and the undervalued options you should watch instead. To recap, though you've probably heard of them, you may not want to waste your binge time on Altered Carbon, 13 Reasons Why, Lost in Space, Jessica Jones, and House of Cards. Skipping those will leave you time for these 10 amazing series: Sense8, The Innocence, Elias Grace, Maniac, The Rain, Troll Hunters, Dark, Mindhunter, Crazy Head, and American Vandal. Happy binging!